What's up, guys? After a lengthy delay, Benny versus the Penny is back. It is week number 10. I am David Gascon. Ben was getting himself ready, but he's been ready for quite a while, so we do apologize for the lengthy delay, but want to let you guys know that this show is brought to you by Ecamm Live. It's a Mac-based application supporting us tonight. If you want additional information on it, click on the description tab on the bottom below, along with a Fantrax logo as well. That helps us support the show and support the cause. But a lot of things to get to. We are running well behind into the late night and into the early morning time. So Big Ben, I will begin the tongue lashing right now.
Well, let me tell you, Gascon, you actually have detention for the rest of the year. So I hope you know that. I was entertaining the masses. I was doing an Ask Ben, an emergency Ask Ben in the chat, and then it disappeared. What are we, 55 minutes late? How about, could you imagine showing up to the nightly news and when that mattered and like I'm gonna show up an hour into the where I was supposed to be. How dare you, Gascon? How dare you? What is your defense? Go ahead. What is your defense?
Robbed by technology yet again. I kid you not. I had a software update at 8:30 Pacific, and it took an hour and 30 minutes to get that damn thing up and running, and I had no choice. I had to have the thing update, and I could not do anything about it. So, as it say in the game of poker, I was pot committed. I could not pull out. I could not pull the ripcord, and so here I am with apologies, of course, to the Mountain Militia and Bella, who's in the house as well.
Well, Bella was here, but I want to point out also that if I look a little weird because my internet's wonky, it's because it's Friday the 13th. My internet was great, by the way, an hour ago, Gascon, when this show was supposed to go live. I had amazing internet. I had the greatest internet in the world. Now, not so much. And so this is actually not broadcasting. We're just having a one-on-one conversation. There's no one watching this. We're the only two people that know what's going on right now. I just want you to know, Gascon. And by the way, I like that that's a new angle for you. It's not as flattering as the camera that you had before. Just want to point that out.
You want to point out that it's not as flattering? You're trying to say that it has some different shades to it, and does it make me look as dignified west of the 405?
Just makes you appear like, the camera adds 10 or 15 pounds.
No, my chins add 10 or 15 pounds. A little bit different.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
yeah, it's a little bit different.
All right, so I'll just give the picks and then that's it. I'll just run down the picks and then we'll get out of here. Is that how this is going to work, or like what exactly are we doing here?
No, we got everything. We got everything up and running. So, you wanted to get away from things that we should discuss, so we will discuss, and we'll lead things off with looking back at the week that was, because 3-11.
3-11, yeah, that's right, 3-11, and let me see, a couple of those games I lost on garbage time. The Jacksonville game, they scored a touchdown late. I should have won that game. You can go down the list here. Let's see, what are the other ones that shoulda, coulda, woulda. Listen, it was not a great week, but hey, that's why this show is free, right? I mean, you got to pay for good. I've had good weeks, but this has not been a good run here. But this could be the week, and it would be appropriate that this will be the week where I have my big breakout, 10-win, 11-win week, and no one saw this live. And so it's also been pretty wonky this season with all the COVID stuff and all that. I like that we're going through every single week here, week by week. And so that was my worst week then. This was my worst week, which means I'm due to bounce back, because last time I had a losing week back in week 6, I then bounced back and I had over 500 a week. So they're under 500 now. And the penny's only a game over 500. It's not that. You're not winning money with a penny either. I want to point that out.
Well, you're not losing as much money, though.
No, you shouldn't be betting every game. You're a degenerate loser if you're betting every game. I want to point that out, Gascon. Come on.
Wow,
Those chicken sandwiches look good, by the way.
they do.
I would like one of those, man. That was so man. I made that from scratch, by the way. That was a good meal. Me and the wife. Yeah.
Those chicken sandwiches look a lot better than the games that you've picked so far in the National Football League. But we're week 10,
Yeah.
and
Well, they look a lot better than you trying to get the show on the air at the right time. How about that, Gascon?
that's not saying a whole lot because I'm sure that those chicken sandwiches were probably a little warm, maybe even hot. I don't know. I have my doubts, but nevertheless, don't bury the lead, as you would say.
They were served on time, by the way, Gascon. When they were served at the right time, they weren't served 55 minutes later. Okay, you show up. Let me tell you. Here's Gascon. Right, number one, you show up late to my parties. Now, number two, actually, you're number one. This number one, Gascon. You show up 55 minutes late. This is the Maller brand. You're ruining the Maller brand, Gascon. How dare you? West of the 405. You know, us hardworking people east of the 405, we show up on time, Gascon, is what we do. We show up on time. On time, Maller. By the clock, for the clock, plausibly all about the clock. You, not so much.
Well, you show up in your 8 games under 500 for week number 9, and you're already 0-1 in week number 10. So... don't worry about me. Focus on you.
No. You don't get away with it. It's Hardy Gascon. We're going to get you a new nickname. I'm not sure what, but the Maller Militia, Alf, the Alien Opiner, several brigadier generals are working on a new nickname for you, and we will find out. But no, you're also 0-1 because you showed up 55 minutes late. How dare you? I was ready to pull the plug. I was going to go outside, hang out in the backyard here.
Wow. You wanted to do the show at 9:30, and that's what happens. Bad things happen late at night. We could have done the show at 8:30, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30.
Wait. You want to do the coulda, woulda, shoulda? You could have updated your computer at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 o'clock in the morning. You could have done that, right? You could also turn off your automatic updates like a human. Who has automatic updates on? I mean, my God, that's a rookie mistake. Are you an amateur? Is this your first computer ever? Seriously.
No. This is coming for the guy that needed his wife to convince him to buy a green screen so I can make you look good. So I wouldn't talk about amateur hour being new to this technology.
Yeah, I buy the green screen and you can't even get the show on the air. How dare you? How dare you?
Well, listen, I got dressed for a reason. So can we do some football, please? Can we do it?
All right, we'll do some marginal handicapping here,
yes.
And I guess we'll have to come up with funny answers for the trivia because of the situation here. I do see a bunch of people in the chat though, so I say a bunch, a lot fewer than we would have had if this show had been when it was supposed to be, Gascon. I just want to point that out. Okay. All right. So the first game up here. We have Houston 2-6 at Cleveland 5-3. It is on Fox. You know who's calling this game? You want to take a guess? Fox is calling pretty much every game. They have every game in the early window and a couple of games in the late window. CBS only has, I think, 3 games this weekend.
I'm going to go with Adam Amin on this one for 100.
All right, Adam Amin, much like how you got the show on the air, Gascon, that is a loser. That is incorrect. The correct answer, Dick Stockton. This is the Dick game. This is the Dick Stockton game. That's
actually a good game, though, for him to call.
No, it's not. Houston blows. What are you talking about? Dick Stockton and Matt Millen have the call, and it is the Cleveland Browns, who are a 4-point favorite. They opened by 2.5 at 2.5. Now, I actually liked the Browns a lot at 2.5. I liked them a lot at 3. I even was like, okay, maybe 3.5. The 4-point thing scares me a little bit. It's going to be a rainy afternoon by the mistake by the lake there. Light rain, 55 degrees at kickoff at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. I'm going to take the Browns. I don't love the pick as much because the point spread has been moved. Everyone's betting on the Browns here, which also scares me a little bit. But it is always a good idea to bet against the overrated Deshaun Watson, who's putting up empty stats, right? He's another one of these guys. He's like Russell Westbrook, where he puts up these great numbers and dumb people think he's better than he is. The Texans are 1-7 straight up and versus the line. They're brutal. All right, they're 4-12-1 versus the spread since the middle of last year, and they have not covered their last 7 games as an underdog. So every time they've been a dog over the last 7 games, they have lost. I love the Cleveland running game, and you look for this. Styles make fights, as we say every week here, and you love the Cleveland running game, who figure to manhandle the defensive front for the Houston Texans. They're getting some guys back, the Browns. The Texans are 31st at stopping the run. Only the Bengals have been more futile at stopping the run this season. So despite the Browns being on a 3-8 skid, that is against the spread, by the way, they're going back to last year, I am going to put my money on the Brownies here. And I actually love Baker Mayfield against bad teams. If you saw on the radio show, about 10 days ago, we did a monologue about Baker Mayfield. I looked up some numbers, and when he has played bad teams, such as the Bengals, or you can go down the list, the Cowboys, Baker Mayfield has been amazing. He sucks when he plays good teams, but against bad teams, he's been good. 70% completion. He's averaging 8 yards per pass attempt. 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's against the Cowboys, Bengals twice, and the team formerly known as the Redskins. I put Houston in that same category defensively. So I'm going to take the Browns here, and I'll take Cleveland 30 and Houston 20, the final. And the penny picks.
Back from the dead, the penny's going the other way, going with the Houston Texans in this one.
All right, we disagree on that. Next game up, Tampa Bay at Carolina. It is on Fox with Kevin Burkhardt and Daryl Moose Johnston. They have the call. Now, the Buccaneers opened up a 6-point favorite in this game, and they are now a 5.5-point favorite. It's going to be mostly cloudy, 70 degrees at kickoff at Bank of America Stadium. And I'm going to take the Panthers. I have a bit of a bromance with Teddy Bridgewater from a gambling standpoint. And he was one of the few games I got right last week. They being Carolina, covered against the Kansas City Chiefs. So the key thing everyone's going to be watching here is, like, what do the Bucs do? How do they rebound? They were so bad. Tom Brady was brutal. Tampa was guilty, much like they pulled a Gascon. They were truant. They were guilty of truancy against the Saints. So how do they rally back? You assume they're going to bounce back in a big way here, that this is not going to linger. But I don't know about that. I mean, I think this game is going to be close. It's a divisional game. I think this is a touch-and-go relay race situation. Tom Brady historically has not played that great against Carolina, although most of that, he was only played one game as a Buck against the Panthers, but that goes back to his days in New England. But his career passer rating is 81.7. That is the second lowest against any opponent. By the way, the team that he has the worst passer rating against, Tom Brady, that would be the Arizona Cardinals, of all people. He's only played them twice. And so Carolina is actually the lowest passer rating for Brady against anyone he's played more than 2 times. And many people have pointed out, I don't know if you've seen this, Gascon, that Brady against the spread after a loss is 19-6 in his career, and he's covered 17 of the last 20. When he's lost in the next week, he's come right back, and especially good over the years. Not that the Patriots ever lost a lot of games by 20 points, but it's happened 8 times in Brady's career, and the following game, Tom Brady is 7-1 against the spread. So he's got a good run going here. But I like Teddy Bridgewater, and he's got a stat. This is the greatest stat. This is the amazing stat, Gascon. What do you think Teddy Bridgewater's record is from a gambling standpoint against the spread? What do you think?
Well, I don't know record-wise, but we talked about this last week. I think you said something astronomical, like 77% against the spread.
Yeah, that's his overall spread numbers, about that. But how about this? Coming in as an underdog, which is what Carolina is, getting 5.5 at home. Bridgewater's played 25 games in his career as an underdog, and his team has covered the spread 21 of those. That's an 840 winning, which straight covers as an underdog. And he's the NFL's second most on-target quarterback. If you go by the advanced statistics, I was looking at some of those. I was nerding out, and so I realized that Christian McCaffrey's not playing. He came back for one game, and he's already back out. He's in the injury tent. He's going to miss this game, but he's missed a bunch of games. Carolina's been able to fight back and bounce back, and so I'm a little concerned because Bridgewater did not play well in the game in Tampa earlier this year, but I expect a better performance here. And I think the final score of that game was misleading because I remember Leonard Fournette scored a garbage time touchdown in the final couple minutes. He broke the Bucs were trying to run out the game, and Leonard Fournette broke like a 50-yard or close to a 50-yard run at the end of that game. So anyway, Buccaneers are going to win the game, but it'll be close. It'll be nip and tuck. 27 and Carolina 23. And the Penny picked.
Penny is going with Tampa Bay in this one. Oh, my.
All right, so I see the chat room blowing up. Frank says goofed up Gascon, that can be your new nickname, or goofed up Gagon. We could do that. Dylan the robot says I'm looking like a referee. Yeah, I'm the official of the NFL, right, Gascon? I'm the official of the NFL. Isn't that how that? No?
Yeah, but I mean, minus your internet connection right now, which is laboring a little bit, but it's all good.
Why you got to judge my internet connection like that, huh? I didn't judge you when you got up 55 minutes late.
Well, actually, you did. So considering the fact that there was that giant bus that you had me get run over by, so it's fine. It's all good.
No, you jumped in front of the bus, Gascon. You jumped in front of the bus. Okay, I had nothing to do with that. Boy. At all. All right, let's move on. Yes, you want to move on? All right. And by the way, for those of you are the hardy few that are in the room there in the chat. So like us, thumbs up, all right? Because most of the people that will be watching this are going to be watching this on the delay. All right, next up for us, let's see here. Where do we go? Let's go to Philadelphia at the Giants, another Fox game. Philadelphia 3-4-1, leading the NFC East. The Giants just 2-7. It's on Fox with Kevin Kugler and Chris Spielman. They have the call on this game. Now, the Eagles opened up a 4-point favorite. The line has stayed the same. It's going to be mostly cloudy, 56 degrees at kickoff at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And I'm going to take the Giants in this game. I expect a lot of turnovers. Both these quarterbacks are incompetent. The gambling public, the wise guys, love Philadelphia, so I'm going against them here. The Eagles are getting a bunch of guys back from injured reserve. But Carson Wentz, who's been so bad, I don't know how you can bet on him as a 4-point favorite against anybody. He's got a career low in passing yards. He set a career low in passing yards. He tied a career high in turnovers during the win last week over Dallas. He was terrible. And Carson Wentz leads the NFL with 16 giveaways this year, followed by Daniel Jones. And we gave the stat the other day, but if you look at it, Carson Wentz is on pace for 38 turnovers when you combine fumbles and interceptions this season. He's terrible. And Daniel Jones, he's been really bad at home. We had that stat on the radio show, but he's got the worst home road split in NFL history. He's been so much worse at home than he has been on the road. This game is a home game for the Giants. But that said, I like a little bit of moxie that Joe Judge's Giants have played with here. They've got my attention. Well, they have a bad record, but they have not been bad for gamblers. In fact, the G-Men, the last 6 games, they're 5-0-1 against the line and 6-1-1 against the spread their last 8. And the Eagles, as favorites, are 1-4 as favorites. But again, they're rested. They've had a little extra time here, and they've got a bunch of guys back. That's why they're favored. But I'm going to take the Giants to cover here. Eagles by a field goal. Eagles 27, Giants 24. And the Penny pick.
Penny's going with you on this one. Go with the New York Giants.
All right, beautiful, beautiful view. Well, I see Jonathan in Delaware is in. Now the show can continue because Jonathan in Delaware. It's in Dylan the Robot says Daniel Jones is 4-0 against Washington, but 1-17 against all of them. Yeah, I understand, but I don't need him to win the game, Daniel. I just need him to keep it close. He doesn't have to win the game. Just keep it close. Hang around. Next up, Jacksonville 1-7 at Green Bay. It's on Fox. The guy I used to work with, Chris Myers, has the call on this game. Myers, Greg Jennings, and Brock Hewitt. It takes 3 people to call a Jacksonville-Green Bay game. The Packers opened up a 13.5-point favorite. They're favored by 13. And it's going to be cloudy, 42 degrees in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. And I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to get to them in a second here. But you've got Jake Luton versus Aaron Rodgers. That's their quarterback matchup. That is like a super soaker water gun versus a semi-automatic assault rifle. So good luck on that. I realize this is ridiculous, but Luton's getting his second start. He got the backdoor cover last week in Jacksonville against Houston. The Jags have dropped 5 in a row versus the number and 4 straight prior to that. So they got the late cover last week. They've been terrible against the number. But did you know Aaron Rodgers, over the last 5 years, he's been a double-digit favorite only 5 times, and his record as quarterback of Green Bay as a double-digit favorite over the last 5 years, 1-4 against the spread. So that's not particularly great. Green Bay has not allowed 400 yards in a game since week 15, and they're certainly not going to give up 400 yards in this game. The Packers and the Saints are tied for the longest active streak in the NFL, regular and postseason. And you figure Devontae Adams is going to go nuts here. Green Bay can pretty much write the ticket on the final score. But I am done, Gascon, betting on double-digit favorites. The Pittsburgh Steelers last week, they pooped the bet against Dallas. So I'm out. I don't care. I can lose this game. I went away from my principles as a gambler last week. I took Pittsburgh. And I agree. There is no reason to think Jacksonville is going to be within 30 points of Green Bay. But anytime you get over 10 points in the NFL, you got to take it. You got to hope. Rodgers goes out, sucks. There's always the injury possibility, which is the great equalizer. But I will take the Packers 33 and Jacksonville 21. The final. And the penny pick.
Penny's taking the chalk and going with the Green Bay Packers in this one.
All right. And for those of you just joining you haven't missed much. Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up. Bert writes in. He says, I was here at the start, but did Gascon have now? How did the penny do last week? That's all. Mason the Millennial, excuse me. Mason, we already gave that information. You'll have to watch the rebroadcast. Bad job by you.
Yeah. Just in case if he wants to know, the penny did better than Ben Maller.
Mason's a fan of the Maller show. He wants positivity, not negative. He's a millennial too. That's what he wants.
Yeah, well, he wants money. That's what he wants. So he's kind of going the opposite way if he's worrying about the penny. So,
wow. All right, next up for us, Washington 2-6 at Detroit 3-5. It is on Fox, and this is the last early game. They moved the schedule around because of the Masters, which is good for me because I'm usually half asleep early in the morning on Sunday. So I'd like to see this every week. But Detroit 3-5, Washington 2-6. It is on Fox. Brandon Godin, and Aqib Talib with a little jockocracy here in this game. Lions opened up a 4-point favorite. They're now a 3.5-point favorite at home. It's going to be cloudy, 51 degrees outside Ford Field, which is a dome. Now, listen, these are 2 bad teams. Normally, with 2 bad teams, you would just blindly take the points. But I'm not an Alex Smith believer. I can't believe the guy's playing. It's an amazing story. He threw a bunch of interceptions last week. Those are the ones that get you blown out of the water. And if you look at the Washington franchise since middle of 2018, they have a 1-21 record when they have at least one giveaway. which is all but guaranteed they're going to turn the ball over at least one time. The only win did come against the Lions, by the way. If for what that's worth, that was in November of last year. Washington is 0-2-1 against the spread this season, and they have lost five straight road games going back to the 2019 season. So they have the worst record at home in the NFL over that span. So it's a mixed bag here, and the Lions under Matt Patricia have not been a good bet as a favorite. They're 1-4 their last 5. Matthew Stafford, though, has to be licking his chops here, put up some numbers against this Washington defense. He's going to be throwing the ball to Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola because Kenny Golladay is out again. He's going to miss the second consecutive game for him with a bad hip. But I believe this is not even going to be really all that close because of the turnovers by Alex Smith. I'll take the Lions 34 and the team formerly known as the Redskins 20.
And the penny is going with the Washington football team as well.
All right. So exciting, Gascon. It's so exciting. Do you want to do a little trivia? We have a few people that are watching a live show here.
Yeah, we could do that. Why not?
All
Let's
right. What's the
get
question?
trivia. Let's do question number 1. Heading into the weekend, Carson Wentz is tied with me for the most bad throws this season, 62. Who am I?
I'm always amused at who comes up with what a bad throw is. Because a bad throw to me might be different than a bad throw to you. And how do they know it's really a bad throw and not just a throwaway situation? But they have a stat for everything at the NFL.
Maybe a ball that's not catchable, but it's in the field of play?
Well, yeah, but what's not catchable, right? I mean, if
it touches your hands? Like if it touches your hands, do you consider that catchable?
All right, let's see. Do we have any funny answers coming in? Let's see. I'm looking. This is the ultimate test for the Maller Militia because David Gascon decided to start the show 55 minutes late. So we have that. Let's see. Cam Newton was guessed by Dylan the Robot. Robert is going with Dakota Prescott as his answer.
Shout out Brad Sham.
Yeah. Jonathan, he says, I still want to know who you got, Jets or the bye. Now, I'm going to take the bye there. I believe the bye is going to win. Jonathan is going with Clinton Dix as his answer. And Mason the Millennial is going with someone I've never heard of. I don't know who that is. Mr. Luciano, my guy, Mr. Luciano, says, who is Babyface Nelson as the answer. Scott is going with Don Strock. A different Scott says it's Dieter Brock. Boy, I grew up a Rams fan, and Dieter Brock effed with my mind when I was a kid, man. That guy was supposed to be great, right? He was the guy that came out of the Canadian Football League, right? Wasn't that the guy? I think that was the guy.
What year was that?
That's in the 80s. He was before Jim Everett.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was before Jim Everett. Steve Bono was guest. Let's see here. All right. Now, again, by the way, before we give the answer here, and don't put it up yet, Gascon. I know you're jonesing to put it up. Don't put it up. Fanatics. You see this hat right here? You see that? Got it at Fanatics. I used the code. I'm cheap. I admit it. I'm a tightwad. I saved a couple of bucks. I used the own code that we have for this stupid show, Benny versus Benny. So if you want to help us out, maybe we can buy Gascon a new computer so he can actually get the show on the air when it's supposed to be on the air. I don't know. Next week, maybe we'll do it earlier, Gascon. How about that? Because if your computer resets at night, maybe we'll have to do it earlier next week. I don't know.
I'm good with that. that.
Click the link. Fanatics, right there. It's in the description box on YouTube. And there's a link right there. And it doesn't cost you anything at all. You still get the great Fanatic prices. You actually save some money. They got all kinds of things depending on when you click on it. And when you click on it, what do you have, like a day to buy something? Is that right? A day or two?
7. You got 7 days to buy something.
7 days.
Yeah.
Hey, the holidays are coming up, right?
Makes sense,
and,
right?
You got to buy all your fan gear for the lockdown of 2021 so you're prepared. You want to be prepared, right?
Exactly. Oh, God.
You want to get your pajamas when the entire country's locked down. Well, there's the answer right there. Patrick Mahomes, believe it or not, Patrick Mahomes and Carson Wentz are tied. How ridiculous is that?
It's a wild
Of course,
stat.
the Chiefs have thrown. Yeah, it is a wild stat. Mahomes has thrown a ton of passes this year because the Chiefs have this amazing passing offense, but that is the answer. So congratulations to no one. No one got it right. Jonathan says, I am blocked by Steve. He says, I'm blocked by Jim Everett, because I have made multiple Chris Everett jokes despite never tagging Chris Everett or Jim Everett. Well, Jonathan, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I hear that Jim Everett is a listener to the show.
Is he?
I like that you've changed your background, by the way, guys. I just noticed that. You've changed. How long has it been like?
Changed that probably about 15 minutes ago, but as always,
Is that Dubai? Is that the Middle East there?
No, it's downtown Los Angeles. If you take a peek at the bottom of the screen, there's a little bit of a Chavez Ravine down there, and
maybe that's Photoshop though. They put it in there, and it's like it's actually Dubai, and because your head's covering up the skyline, so I can't really. Can you move your head so I can see the big buildings to see? Okay, all right. That's LA. Yeah.
It's Los
Look at this
Angeles,
the helicopter behind me keeps kind of flying the same way and then going back and doing it again. It's very weird.
Wow.
They're gonna run out of fuel and crash. I'm worried about that.
Wow. I got a joke in there, but I will refrain.
No, it's okay. You crashed. Oh, you want to do a Kobe joke? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, definitely not Kobe. Yeah, that's not a joke. That is definitely not a joke.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
You know what's great about Koopa Loop on the show? Like he still will not allow any Kobe Bryant jokes, right? He won't allow any Kobe jokes. But Alex Trebek, a week after Alex Trebek, less than a week, he's doing Alex Trebek Jeopardy jokes. What's up with that? Alex Trebek was more famous than Kobe Bryant because only sports people like Kobe Bryant. Alex Trebek, nerds loved Kobe Bryant. Everyone loved or Alex Trebek rather. Everyone loved Trebek. Not Kobe was a sports person. And Alex Trebek was the man of everyone. Everyone watched Jeopardy at night. For 35 years, that guy was on TV.
Well, I don't know why you'd be questioning that. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. All right, let's keep going with the picks. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see, page down. Did anyone in the chat listen to that Brad Sham interview, by the way? We had Brad Sham on, the Cowboy broadcaster. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't very long, but he had stuff to do. All right, late games. Denver 3-5 at Las Vegas 5-3. It's on CBS with Kevin Harlan and Trent Green. And the Raiders opened up a 2-point favorite. They're up to 3.5 at home at the Death Star in the Valley of the Sun. It's going to be sunny and 60 degrees at kickoff. I am going to take the Broncos in this game. I want to take Denver getting over a field goal. The Broncos have been really shaky the last couple of weeks on defense. They're supposed to get some guys back this week, so hopefully that'll help out. They've allowed at least 30 points, though, their last 3 games. That is tied for the longest streak for the Denver Broncos since the 1970 merger. Holy crap. Where have you gone, Carl Mecklenburg? My God. The last time Denver allowed at least 30 points in 4 straight games was 1968. 1968. Now, that said, I am going to bet the Broncos here. I do not sleep on Denver because even after getting mollywopped in Atlanta, Broncos coach Uncle Vic Fangio, 5-3 as a dog this season. So he's got a winning record. And if you go back even further, the last 15 games, 10-5 in that role as an underdog. So the Broncos have been on a hot streak, getting points. They did look terrible. The stats are ugly. They don't have a quarterback. There's so many reasons not to bet on the Broncos, but there also are reasons to bet on them. And the fact that everyone's running the other direction, the Raiders are the cool kids all of a sudden in the NFL. They've covered their last 5 against the Broncos. John Gruden has owned the Denver Broncos in recent years. And so we'll see what happens. He should have good numbers in this game. In fact, he has the 3rd best touchdown to interception ratio this season. and has thrown 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But I believe the value is on Denver, and everyone's betting on the Raiders. Nobody thinks the Broncos have a chance, and they have been very good as a dog. Again, last 15 as an underdog with Vic Fangio, 10-5. I will take that. And this is one of those games, divisional game, but the Raiders are kind of going through the proverbial motions, if you will. So I am, you would assume this week, I'm going to take the Denver Broncos to cover, the Raiders to win. A thriller in Sin City, Raiders 27 and the Broncos 26. And the Penny pick.
Penny's going with the Vegas Raiders in this one.
All right, we disagree on that. Next game up, the LA Chargers at the Miami Dolphins. This game I like a lot. Chargers are 2-6. Dolphins are 5-3. It's on CBS, and CBS only doing late games. They have no early games because of the Masters, which will wrap up on Sunday. What happens if the Masters go? Like, what's the plan of attack here at CBS? Are they going to have to preempt the Dolphins-Chargers game and these other games they've got? Because, I mean, there's a shot that the Masters, we've seen it go later. I guess there's a certain point where you just have to give it up, right?
Maybe they'll put it to like CBS Sports Network and then put the Chargers and Dolphins on CBS.
No, the Masters people are demanding with all their patrons. They're demanding, or the lack of patrons, they're demanding it's on network TV. Anyway.
I'm good with niche sport not being on national TV.
You're not a golf guy? You're not
Definitely not a golf guy.
You should, man. You're west of the 405. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, football's king, man. I'm not going to be picking up a hobby anytime soon with golf in it. Come on. What's wrong with you?
But that's one of the easiest gigs in the world. I covered the PGA Championship years ago when it was in Brentwood, and my God, it is the easiest gig in the world. You sit in tent. You watch the tournament on TV. If you want to walk and follow and be part of a gallery of a golfer, you can do that. They give you all the stats, everything you need. The golfers come into the interview room. It's the easiest job in the world. You get to travel to places like Hawaii and Florida and warm weather places mostly. What's not to like?
It's boring. It's a boring sport to watch. It's not heavy contact. There's no real aggression involved. It's boring, man.
Dylan says that golf needs a shot clock.
It's true. 100% true. I do appreciate Steve acknowledging the fact that he's happy that he got up late and that we're still on. So I appreciate Steve acknowledging the good job by me to delay everything to get him involved. So
yes, you can thank David Gascon for being incompetent and being amateur for this show starting.
No. You can thank me for being considerate, starting this show a little bit later than 9:30 Pacific and 12:30 Eastern. But who's counting time right now?
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I can't read that.
Can't read that.
I don't know, because it's emojis. Is that? Oh, it's Dolphin Charger. All right, whatever, fine. So we haven't given the pick yet. I like the Dolphins in this game. It's going to be about 79 degrees at kickoff at Hard Rock Stadium. Dolphins are favored by 1.5. This is the third act for Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. He outplayed Kyler Murray in the fourth quarter. The Dolphins coming from behind, and so they benefited from a blown field goal that would have tied the game. But mentioned Vic Fangio, great record against the spread. Brian Flores, though, has been amazing for gamblers also, the Dolphin coach here. His team playing with confidence, some swagger now, making plays all over the place on defense. Have won 4 straight games for the first time since 2016, and they have the best point differential in the NFL over this stretch of games here recently. Miami is 15-5 against the spread their last 20 games going back to last season. That is the top record in the National Football League. So they have been the number one bet, the Miami Dolphins. And the other side is you got the Chargers, who Anthony Lynn hanging on by a wing and a prayer at this point, the Charger coach. The Chargers have drowned in halftime adjustments all season. They are just 1-5 when leading at halftime this season. 1-5, and they've been outscored or they've outscored their opponents rather by 32 points in the first half, and they've been outscored by 37 points in the second half. That is the third worst point differential in the entire NFL, half to half. And Justin Herbert, listen, this guy's good. He's been better than Tua. He's played more games. He's been a force to be reckoned with, Justin Herbert. But I simply do not trust the Chargers. And I love the Dolphins, the way that they've been playing this season, at the end of last season. And as a gambler, what more could you ask for? So I'm going to take the Dolphins 32 and the Chargers 26. And the Penny pick.
Penny's also going with the Miami Dolphins in this one.
All right. So the Dolphins with the pick. I like that in this angle, my chin is cut off, though. I like that, Gascon. I like that my chin is cut off. Can you move my camera up a little bit? Can you move me up so my chin's not cut off? I know we're already halfway through, but no.
You should be happy.
You like that my chin's being cut? My chin's fine. I'm okay with my chin.
He didn't shave. You look kind of raggedy, a little haggardy. I don't know.
I'm gonna shave. I would have been shaving by now because the show would have been over. I would have been shaving, but you weren't on time. So.
Well,
bad job by you. Oh, there we go. All right, that's good. Right there. There we go.
You gotta sit up straight. There you go. Well, what an amazing
novelty. My good posture. Look at that. I'm. What's wrong with the hunchback? Yeah.
The hunchback of east of the 405.
The absentee, truant Gascon. Steven writes, it says, I wonder who's the media relations person who first came up with the phrase, we are aware of the situation. We are gathering information as we speak. We cannot comment any further at the moment. I actually read a story about that. I think it was a college professor that came up with that. And that has been the standard. Whoever came up with it first, it's been repeated by everybody and their mother. All right, next up, Buffalo at Arizona. It's on CBS with Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. The Cardinals are 2-5, or rather, the Cardinals 5-3. I should say, not 2-5. They're 2.5-point favorites in this game. You see some of the numbers there, but the Cardinals opened up a 1.5-point favorite. The public is betting on Buffalo. I am going to bet on Buffalo also. It's going to be 77 degrees at kickoff at State Farm Stadium. Now, a couple things here. First of all, Josh Allen was really good last week against a piss-poor Seattle Seahawks defense. The 4 weeks prior to that, Josh Allen was lousy, right? He was lousy. And that ended a 4-game against the spread losing streak for Josh Allen and the Bills. Josh leads the NFL in play-action pass attempts and yards, as you might imagine. So he has not lived up to the gambling market expectation. Even though Buffalo is 7-2 on the season, it seems odd to say that. And everyone's jonesing. Guys like Gascon have their pants down watching Kyler Murray play. I do not, because he's got a flashy stat line. He's also lost this year to the Lions and the Dolphins at home. So how good can you be when you lose to the Lions and the Dolphins at home? And Tua making his second NFL start. And by the way, Kyler Murray does lead. His bread and butter is the RPO, the run pass option. He leads the NFL in that particular play. But listen, Arizona's banged up. The trainer's room is like a convention hall in Vegas prior to COVID. It is jam-packed. I am going to take the Bills. This is going to be more than a shootout. This is going to be a mega shootout. Buffalo 45 and Alligator Arms Murray 40.
Kind of an a-hole with that comment. Penny's going with the Arizona Cardinals.
How am I an a-hole? What did I say that was incorrect?
Alligator Arms. You're talking about a grown man that makes a significant amount of money to dominate in the NFC West.
Okay, so what was his arm measurement at the scouting combine?
It doesn't matter what his arm measurement is.
That's why he's alligator arm, stupid.
What's his wallet measurement? How about that? How about you measure his wallet compared to yours, dummy? You're here like a couple of weeks ago showing your wallet like that has anything to do with anything. That guy's an absolute stud.
Wes, oh, you got your pants down right now? You got a little orgasm, huh? Come on,
That
you
guy,
want to do the tubing? You want to do the tubing? You go ahead, do the tubing. Kyler Murray, do the tubing. Kyler Murray.
a Heisman Trophy winner. The guy's a dark horse for the MVP this season. He's put up better numbers than Lamar Jackson did last season, who won the MVP. So that's fine. You can take all the shots you want.
Yeah, and his team lost to the Lions and the Dolphins at home.
Hey, hey, he's got a bad offensive line. He's got minimal running game. He's got a couple weapons and a marginal defense with no Chandler Jones.
Dave says Gascon wants to be Kyler Murray's side piece. Is that true? I think that's true. I think you would like to be Kyler Murray's side piece in Arizona.
I'm sorry. We can't do everything that every national talk show host decides to do, and that's bash one guy and then just foam at the mouth for another. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, again, I have stats to back up my argument. You do not. Next up, Santa Clara 4-5 at New Orleans 6-2. It's on Fox. Adam Amin and Mark Schlereth have the call here. The Saints opened up a 6.5-point favorite. They went all the way up to 10. Partly sunny, 78 degrees in the Bayou at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's a dome, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to take the Niners. Again, I cannot lay double digits in the NFL anymore. Blame the Steelers. I never would lay double digits, and it doesn't look good. Everything is fine and dandy for the Saints. They patty-whacked the Buccaneers last week. That was insane. They looked unbeatable. Drew Brees, who had looked shaky early in the year, he'd been on the ropes. And he came out. He was great. They overwhelmed the Saints, the Tampa Bay team, offense, defense, special teams, everything. And then you look on the other side, and then all the injuries the Niners have. That's why they're a double-digit underdog. And New Orleans, number 2 in run defense, number 3 in total defense. Only the Colts and Rams have been better. And I saw a stat here that gives me a little bit of angst because the Santa Clara 49ers are 22-8 with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not going to play because he's on injured reserve. Since 2017, they're 22-8 in games started by Jimmy Garoppolo. And when games are started by anyone else, they're 5-22. I mean, my God. Now, that being said, I am a masochist. I'm a masochist, Gascon. So that's why I like working with you, because I'm a masochist. I enjoy pain. So I am going to roll the dice here with the 49ers, and I think Nick Mullen's going to be okay because he's got his top 3 receivers back, his left tackle's back. So the Niners, they had all those guys on the COVID list. They've got a team back that should be good enough to go back and forth and at least punch for a little bit with the Saints. And you figure New Orleans is not going to have back-to-back rat kills. That rarely happens in the NFL. You have a blowout win, usually come back the next week, and you play a little bit closer. So I'll take the Saints 33 and the 49ers 24. That is a cover for the Niners.
Penny is going with Michael Thomas and the New Orleans Saints.
Steven writes in, he says, on YouTube, Gascon looks like a tall man.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
After his defense of Kyler Murray, I've determined that the man is diminutive in stature.
Nobody said Steven was smart. Nobody said he was intelligent. Nobody said his comment was even relevant. So let's move forward. Let's continue on.
Wow. Triggered. Look at you. You're triggered, Gascon. Yeah. By the way, Mason the Millennial says, Kyler, future, he's the future. You're denying the future. Kyler, a baby goat. Hey, by the way, Mason the Millennial, you ever been to a goat farm when you were a kid? Goats, let me tell you, they have this disgusting musky odor if you've ever been around goats, and they always have flies hovering around them. And so, yeah, Kyler Murray, just like a goat, a disgusting musky odor and flies hovering around him, with Gascon watching with his pants around his ankles.
This is coming from the guy that's got a dead rat in his attic and a varmint in his mailbox. Yeah, how amazing is that comment from Ben Maller? All right.
This is coming from a guy that was here on time, 10 minutes, Gascon, before the show, waiting for you. and I waited an hour and 5 minutes on my day off, Gascon.
Yeah.
On my day off. Okay, here I am. I want a gold star. I want a gold star.
You did. We'll get you a cookie on Sunday night, considering the fact that I, too, am working on my day off. In fact, I work with you on my days off. That's fine.
No, you don't. You work after you get done on the podcast. Triple Nickel says, Supermarket Steven is a smart, intelligent. That was a smart, intelligent comment by him. He says, there you go. All right. Did Gascon show up with an iced coffee? Oh, Queen Roxanne gave me a gold star, so I've got a gold star. Hey, for those of you that are new to the party here, click thumbs up, just like that. Thumbs up. That helps us out there. Thumbs up. Whee! Look at that. It's
Better be careful. Better be careful. Some of your followers might be wanting to do something else with that.
Hold on a sec. Boom. No. Let me go. Here we go. Let me punch. I can punch Gascon. Hold on a sec. There we go. Boom.
What's up with your shirt, man? It looks like you just got off a farm.
You got a problem with the shirt? Huh?
No, it's fine. Did you unplug that from the socket? Did you charge that shirt up? It's just straight blue.
Oh, you don't like blue? You got a problem with blue, huh?
It's just
you
too
of all
bright.
people have a problem. You should have to take that up with my fashion consultant. You can ask her what's wrong with the shirt. How about that?
I'll pass. What game do we got?
You're gonna pass. Steven says, "Careful, Gascon. With only 22 people in the chat, you don't want to lose me as well. That'll make it 21. There you go.
Let's be honest.
We had a bunch more people earlier, but Gascon decided to show up 55 minutes late to work.
No, actually, I terminated the room, so it made it even better. That's great.
Yeah, I was in the room doing an Ask Ben, and then you terminated the room like a donkey that you are. Bad job by you. You have no customer relations, Gascon. No customer relations.
The customer is always wrong. That's one thing I've learned.
That's right. West of the 405. All right, next up.
The customer is always the victim in 2020. How about that?
All right, Cincinnati, calm down, Cowboys. Cincinnati 2-5-1 at Pittsburgh 8-0. It's on Fox. High school broadcaster Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma have the call. Did you see Kenny call the high school football game in New Jersey on Thursday night?
I heard.
What's it like? Are you upset, Gascon, because you live in a state with His Royalty, His Majesty Gavin Newsom, who puts out all these rules and then goes to parties violating all of his own rules. He's also shut down high school football for you, and so there's no high school football to call and all that. And if you lived in a more progressive state, at least as far as common sense, like New Jersey, you would have an opportunity to actually watch high school football. How about that?
It's great, man. I'm happy that you're taking shots now at my income. Really appreciate that. Very kind of you. It's good. Small businesses and high school athletes and plenty of people at home. But Ben Maller gets to work at home, feet up on the desk, gets to roll out of bed, and everything's all right with Ben Maller. It's all good.
Well, actually, I don't get to work from home because sometimes I work with people that are lazy and they don't show up on time. How about that? Sometimes I work with people that decide that they don't want to be professional and make sure their computer's ready to go when the show starts. How about that?
Well, you get what you pay for, I guess, right?
That's about right. That's about right. You get what you pay for. All right. So, listen, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. It's going to be mostly sunny, 51 degrees at kickoff in the Steel City. I'm going to take the Bengals. I am with Joe Public. I'm with Joe Public this week. I love the Bengals plus 7.5. Joe Burrow. Here's another guy that's been great for gamblers. 6-1-1 against the spread this season. Cincinnati, as an underdog, has done very well. They're 5-1-1. And Joe Burrow is the 5th most blitzed quarterback in the NFL. That scares me a little bit here because Pittsburgh, pretty good defense. Burrow's been sacked 28 times, tied for the second most. Only Carson Wentz has been sacked more. But Cincinnati has not quit. They haven't given up. There's only a couple of games where they've been punched in the face. Now, the Steelers, speaking of getting punched in the face here, the Pittsburgh Steelers dealing with a COVID-19 situation. So they had some guys that were out. They've got some guys that might not play on Sunday, depending on whether they get cleared or not. Ben Roethlisberger was on that list, and he's got a tender elbow, but he should play this week, and I believe he will be playing this week. I expect James Conner to do well for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, that's common sense. Cincinnati has the worst run defense, or almost the worst. They're 29th in the NFL. Actually, they're 32nd in some categories stopping the run. So that's a problem. But listen, Cincinnati's been pretty good. You always got the backdoor cover. And anytime you get a touchdown or more in a divisional game, one of my golden rules, you always take the points. You don't ask questions. Steelers 28, Bengals 23, the final.
Penny is also following you on that, going with the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right. By the way, Mr. Luciano says it's a nice shirt that I'm wearing, so screw you. How about that?
Of course.
There you go.
Slurp, 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 slurp.
Yeah. All right. Next up for us, Seattle at the LA Rams. It's on Fox. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have the call. The line on this game, the Rams opened up a big favorite. They're only a 2-point favorite at home in this game. Sunny and 68 degrees at kickoff at SoFi Stadium in the hood in Inglewood. And I'm going to take the Rams in this game. The public is loading up on Seattle. Russell Wilson, he has become turnover prone in recent weeks here, which has compounded the defensive shortcomings, the historically bad Seattle defense. I got to tell you, though, those 12 men in Seattle are total lemmings. So I did a monologue this week about Jamal Adams, the safety that they picked up from the Jets. And I pointed out that Jamal Adams, who's played about half the games, has not been very good. And you would have thought that I had said the worst thing in the world about these people's, their daughters or their sisters or something like that. I mean, they were all over me. And it shows you how dumb the Seahawk fan is, a lot of them, which is amazing to me. But Seattle averaged 34.3 points coming into this game. The Seahawks, 34.3 points per game. They allow 30 points per game. Their actual game score, their combined game score is 64.7 points. That's the average score combined of a Seahawk game. So these games have all been shootouts. Russell Wilson's been great while coming off a loss. He's 23-10. After his rookie season coming off a loss. That's a .697 winning percentage. Now, I'm going to take the Rams here mainly because the Rams actually have a little bit of defense. Jared Goff scares me because he is capable of puking it up. He's actually played pretty well against Seattle in recent years, so that gives me some encouragement. And the Rams are a play-action team, so you talk about confusing the defense with the play-action. And Jared Goff has attempted the second most play-action passes in the NFL. So that should keep the stumbling Seahawks defense on their heels. The Rams have outgained their opponents by a combined 824 yards. Yet they have 842 yards to 424, but they've managed to only win one of the games, their last two. 842 yards for the Rams, 424 for the opponents, but they lost to Miami because Jared Goff, turnover, bad special teams. And overall, the Rams are outgaining their opponents by 104 yards per game. That is the best yardage differential in the NFL because the defense has been really good, even with all the mistakes by Jared Goff. Rams are going to win this game outright. People are going to be saying, what the hell's going on with Seattle? They're going to be 6-3 after this game. Rams 33 and the Seahawks 27, the final.
Penny also going with the LA Rams in this one.
All right, Dave writes in, he says, Pete Carroll can't coach defense out of a wet paper bag this year, which is true. Jonathan's giving you a doctor if you want to help. Apparently you need a doctor, Gascon. So there's a link in the chat.
Spam in the room. He'll never be back.
Wow. Look at you. All right. You ready for the Monday night? Oh, no, we got to do the Sunday night game first. Why don't we do a trivia? You want to do a trivia game? How about that?
We can do trivia. Why not?
Let's get trivial. I'm
the first player in league history to account for at least 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns in back-to-back games. Who am I?
All right, so the first player in NFL history to have at least 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns in back-to-back games. They've been playing in the NFL for 100 years.
Well,
Not 100 years. Things that make you go, By the way, go to our chat. This is a friendly reminder there. Or actually, go to the information box on YouTube, not the chat, and click on that link right there. There's a Fanatics link, and you can get a hat like this, the hat I'm wearing right here. You can get whatever your favorite team is. You get fan gear. There's all kinds of stuff. There's Robbie the Mariner fan got was it an autographed picture of his favorite quarterback, Josh Allen, so he can put that on his wall and pray to it every night. So you can get whatever you want. It's all available to you on Fanatics. Just use the link. It doesn't cost you anything at all, and you save a couple of bucks. So it's a win-win situation. One of the few things in life that's a win-win situation. All right, some of the answers coming in here. Steven, Supermarket Steven says Al Bundy. Rob Gronkowski was guessed by Queen Roxanne. That is her guess. Let's see here. Anybody else that stands out? Anyone looking good there? All right, what's the answer, Gascon? Give the answer. Go ahead.
you don't sound too excited about it. Drew Lock is the answer of your Denver Broncos.
Yeah, and he's 1-1 in those games, by the way, right? 1-1. The loss to Atlanta. These are the last 2 games.
Yeah.
The last 2 games. Yeah. All right. The correct answer we told you was Drew Lock. So let's move on. Sunday Night Football. Baltimore 6-2 at New England 3-5. It's on NBC. Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth have the call on NBC. The Ravens opened up a 6.5-point favorite. They're a 7-point favorite. Now, the weather is going to be a factor. The early forecast, this is not till Sunday night, calls for rain and temperatures in the low 50s, which will go down into the 40s as the game progresses at Gillette Stadium. I'm going to take the Patriots. Now, the public's like 90% on the Ravens, and I understand why, but I'm going to take a shot with the Patriots. Now, the first thing when you talk about this game, Lamar Jackson, he has regressed, but the Ravens are still winning games. They've got a 6-2 record. They have a pass offense that has been in the sewer with the New York Jets. Last season, Baltimore absolutely slapped the Patriots by. Now, I was getting surgery that day, so by the time I woke up, the game was already a blowout. But they beat them by 17. The Ravens beat the Patriots, and that was in Baltimore. The Ravens ran for over 200 yards in that game, if you remember. They ran early, late, you name it. And listen, New England is not as good this year as they were last year. I think it's obvious. So that's one of the reasons this game is a mismatch. And another reason is Cam Newton, who has been a hot mess at quarterback. He's played a little bit better. Last week he played a little bit better against the Jets, but everyone does okay against the Jets. The last 4 weeks, Cam Newton has averaged just 7 yards per pass attempt. That is average, which, 8 is good, 7 is just the average quarterback. No touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. He's run for a few touchdowns. Now, Lamar Jackson has not been much better. Last 4 games for Lamar, he's got 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His passer rating is 81.2, and all he does is throw to Hollywood Brown over there and Mark Andrews over there, and that's about it. So I expect this game to be a closer game. There's really no rhyme or reason why it should be a closer game, because the Ravens are the better team over the Patriots. But I'm going to take a shot. I love getting underdogs. I like Bill Belichick, his defensive scheme, trying to slow down Lamar Jackson, the game within the game here. And really, if you stop the running game, you're going to beat the Ravens. If you stop the running game, you're going to either win the game or have a chance to win the game. So this will be a closer game than many people think. Ravens 28, Patriots 23.
Penny is going with the Ravens in this one.
All right. One more game, Gascon. Are you excited about that? One more game. I think we've done this in like an hour. We usually do an hour and a half, but we've tightened things up here. Who knew?
As they would say, warp speed ahead.
Warp speed ahead. Indeed. Let's see here. Page up. All right, here we go. Monday Night Football, Minnesota 3-5 at Chicago 5-4. It's on ESPN. Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Louis Riddick have the call. The Bears opened up a small favorite. They were a 1.5 favorite. The Vikings have become a 3-point favorite in this game. Mostly clear Monday night, 43 degrees at kickoff at Soldier Field in Chicago. I am going to take the Vikings. I'm a sucker. I'm with the public on this one. The public's betting on the Vikings. I'm a little scared because of primetime Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to lie. I'm not happy about that. He has had many terrible performances in primetime games. That being said, though, among all the quarterbacks that have started 8 games, Kirk Cousins has made, according to the advanced statistics, the fewest bad throws. We said earlier that Patrick Mahomes and who was he tied with Mahomes? He was tied with Carson Wentz, right? As far as bad throws in the NFL. Well, the other side of that is Kirk Cousins. He's only had 33 bad throws. Only Ryan Fitzpatrick had fewer, but Fitzpatrick got benched by the Miami Dolphins. So if you're honest, this game is really not about Kirk Cousins. This is about Dalvin Cook. He has been historically good. The last 2 weeks for Minnesota, Dalvin Cook is averaging 7.1 yards per carry, not per pass, per carry. Vikings have covered 5 of their last 6 this season with Mike Zimmer, even though they're 3-5 overall. And there is a path here for Minnesota, who got off to the horrible start, to sneak their way back into playoff contention. They're 3-5. They win this game, the Vikings. That gets them to 4-5, and you start playing peekaboo, and you look down the line, and you're like, well, the things are looking up for the Minnesota Vikings, because you play the schedule game. You do the old Mike Francesa bit back in the day, the schedule game. And you're like, well, the Vikings, if they get by the Bears, they're 4-5. They play the Cowboys. That should be a gimme. That gets them to 5-5. They've got Carolina at home. Now, that's a toss-up game, but you're at home. So you assume you got a good chance to compete and have a chance to win that game. So if you win that game, now you're getting to 6-5. Then after that, you got Jacksonville. So there's a path to get to 7-5, and then it gets harder. And then it gets much more difficult for the Vikings, because they got to play in 3 weeks in a row. They play Tampa, Chicago again, and New Orleans. So if they can win this game, though, there is that avenue to get to all the way up to 7-5. I'm being optimistic here, Gascon. I'm being optimistic.
You're using words like path, and when it comes to Dalvin Cook, 200+ yards a game, it's not bad. He's like in the Derrick Henry territory, right? Like Derrick Henry last year in the postseason, the under was on Ryan Tannehill's total yardage plus or minus against Derrick Henry's total yardage in a game.
It's only been 2 games, though, so you got to do it. And the Bears have a pretty good defense. But yeah. I'm taking the Vikings, as I pointed out here. Chicago has come back to earth. I saw the big news out of Chicago in the last 24 hours is that their head coach, Matt Nagy, has decided he is no longer going to call plays, which is the first step to him being removed as head coach of the Chicago Bears. Bill Lazar, the offensive coordinator, is going to take over. The problem is Nick Foles is still going to play quarterback, and that's an issue. Nick Foles is the 28th ranked quarterback in the NFL the last 4 weeks. 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's averaging just over 6 yards per attempt. So he hasn't been good. I really like the way the Vikings are playing. I think they can continue it. They should continue it this week in Chicago. Unfortunately, the wise guys are betting on the Bears, which scares me. But the Vikings are playing better than the Bears are right now. Chicago's lost their last 3 games, I believe it is. So I am going to take Minnesota 29 and Chicago 19.
The penny is going with the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Pathway to 270 for the penny. There it is.
There you go. The pathway to it says Steve says Ben Maller 2024. Hey, I got a couple of votes for president. I got at least 2 votes for president of the United States. Actually, 3.
Well, you never know. With Dominion software kind of running roughshod, you might have had like double that.
Well, no, I had the blind Scott Hotties, Ed from Spokane, and we had a guy in Michigan. Well, the guy in Michigan, what?
No, you have some followers that are recommending new apparel, so might want to check in with your stylist to have her up the ante a little bit from Goodwill.
Yeah, you might want to go to a doctor and have one of those chins removed while you're at it there, Gascon. Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're trying? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, there it is. That's it. That is a final. That is a wrap. 55 minutes late, but better than ever. And so that means we'll just have many more people watching the taped version of Benny versus the Penny, right? That's what's going to happen.
So recap, you had Cleveland, Carolina, Giants, Jacksonville, Washington football team, Denver, Miami, Buffalo, San Francisco, Cincy, the LA Rams, Patriots, and then your Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, that would be it. And all the picks will be up here. This will be up sometime over the weekend. Yes, Saturday maybe. It's already the middle of the weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get them up. And, there'll be plenty to watch since most of college football is canceled on Saturdays now. So.
Oh, and by the way, the 5th Hour podcast, which drops in like 10 minutes because this thing's gone all night, we will have the 5th Hour podcast, a never-before-told story about the great Tommy Heinsohn. And also, we will tell the story about why this week's edition of Benny versus the Penny was extra difficult. Not knowing, by the way, at the time we did that podcast, that David Gascon would say, "Hold my beer," and he would one-up me on that. So congratulations.
Yeah, that is Friday the 13th in full swing, and it'll be a good one.
All right, listen, guys, have a great weekend. And we got the podcast in the next couple of days. We're back on the radio Sunday night on the radio, talking about all the NFL games that are going on, all the NBA trades that are supposed to happen and all that. And so we will catch you then. Aloha. Arrivederci. Sayonara. Adios, muchachos.